Jessica Lahey, The Gift of Failure: How the Best Parents Learn to Let Go So Their Children Can Succeed. Are you seeking a parenting playbook that empowers your children to learn from their failures and triumphs? Look no further, as this captivating summary of The Gift of Failure: How the Best Parents Learn to Let Go So Their Children Can Succeed by Jessica Lahey embodies these principles. The book is a treasure trove of insights into the evolution of parenting and draws upon the wisdom of philosophers like John Locke to emphasize early autonomy for children. Prepare yourself for an enriching journey that scrutinizes the limitations of today's education system and offers practical solutions to kindle intrinsic motivation in children through autonomy-supportive parenting.
Evolution of parenting styles. Parenting styles have gone through an evolutionary process that has shifted from emphasizing children's early autonomy to protecting and sheltering them until they leave the family nest. In the 17th century, work took precedence over children's education, but philosopher John Locke advised parents to let their children make mistakes and face the consequences of their actions. In the 19th century, child labor was prevalent, and teenagers were seen as practical, cheap labor. Dangerous child labor practices led to regulations which prohibited children under a certain age to work, and children went from being useful to useless in their families. With growing divorce rates and couples having fewer children later in life, the focus shifted to caring for children as developing adults. Psychological books about children's education became popular, with a focus on self-esteem playing the most central part in a child's behavior. The self-esteem movement reinforced self-esteem in American society but turned people into narcissists, according to psychologist Jean Twenge. The downside of perfect grades. Grades fail to instill intrinsic motivation in children and dampen self-driven motivation with external rewards. Parents should establish non-negotiable expectations and let children learn how to cope under pressure. From a young age, children are taught that good grades are their ticket to success and respect in society. However, this mentality comes at a significant cost. Grade-driven education eliminates the possibility of failure and also fails to instill intrinsic motivation in children. To make matters worse, parents often resort to external rewards such as phones to motivate students, which can further dampen self-driven motivation. An experiment conducted by psychologist Harry Harlow showed that regular rewards killed a monkey's interest in completing a task, as opposed to monkeys who received no reward. Humans exhibit similar behavior. When a child is enthusiastic about a task, they will persevere, even when facing challenges. To foster enthusiasm, children must be allowed to find their own way of solving problems. That's why taking a step back and letting the children decide how, when, and where they accomplish a task is key. Parents can establish non-negotiable expectations, such as homework deadlines, but they should let their children fail if they do not meet these expectations. This is the only way for children to learn how to cope under pressure and become intrinsically motivated learners. Autonomy-supportive parenting. Parents play a crucial role in their child's education, but there is a difference between being involved and being controlling. Psychologist Wendy Grolnick studied autonomy-supportive and controlling parents and found that children who were controlled by their mothers gave up faster than children who weren't when faced with frustrating situations while playing by themselves. Being autonomy-supportive means setting limits for your children so that they can test their standards against yours. Autonomy-supportive parenting involves helping children discover different ways of dealing with problems. Parents who hold their children responsible for not meeting expectations are preferred by children over controlling parents who extensively monitor their children. Switching to autonomy-supportive mode takes time and effort, but the goal should be to support your child, rather than direct him or her. Remember that controlled parenting seems supportive because it uses rewards, but if you allow your children to struggle with problems, they'll learn the necessary patience for coming up with solutions. As long as you show your children that your love isn't dependent on their success, you'll always be on the right path. The power of praise. Praise behavior, not persona, to develop a growth mindset in children. Focusing on effort rather than performance helps children to persevere and fear failure less. The way parents praise their children can demotivate them despite good intentions. Praising a child's behavior rather than the child creates a growth mindset, while praising the child itself promotes a fixed mindset. A growth mindset focuses on effort, allowing children to believe they can develop any skill as long as they practice it. Conversely, a child with a fixed mindset perceives specific skills or abilities as unchanging throughout life. Praise can thus affect a child's level of perseverance and their approach to challenges. Studies by psychologist Carol Dweck show that students praised for how hard they worked persevered and had a better ability to deal with more challenging tasks, while those appreciated for intelligence gave up faster. Western schools tend to group children according to their ability, unlike Japanese schools, where all children are believed to have the potential to develop high degrees of skill. By valuing effort rather than performance, children can see failure as an opportunity to learn. Teach responsibility through household duties. Children who take part in household duties learn competence, responsibility, and purpose. Parents should encourage children to take responsibility for household work to learn how to get things done and gain initiative. As children age, they can be given more complex tasks and need less supervision. Parents should not take over their children's activities but instead let them establish their own system of doing things. Household duties should be referred to as family contributions to show children the value of their actions and that they play a key role in the family. Assigning duties is not about having an immaculate house, but sharing the effort to form a family bond. Children who participate in housework have a sense of purpose, which is crucial for an autonomous, self-driven life. The importance of free play and peer relationships for children. Children's social skills are developed through interaction with other children, and parents should embrace and encourage free play rather than constantly intervening. Studies have shown that free play in kindergarten predicts academic success better than standardized tests, and it fosters empathy and peer feedback. It's also essential for children to develop relationships with peers from different backgrounds to improve their ability to adapt and communicate with others later in life. Parents should only intervene when necessary, such as when their child's safety is at risk or when seeking professional guidance. Grades aren't everything. Parents can support their children's education by encouraging self-determined goals and choice, rather than solely focusing on grades. When students receive poor grades, it's natural for parents to feel anxious and attempt to control their children's academic pursuits. However, these moments present an excellent opportunity for kids to discover what they truly value. While grades do hold some importance, one study in Japan found that students performed better and learned more when they were told the purpose of a quiz was to monitor their progress, rather than solely focusing on the impact it would have on their final grade. Concerns about the usefulness of grades are not new, with doubts arising about the impersonality and lack of personal communication between teacher and student as early as 1898. Nonetheless, grades remain entrenched in the education system. So, how can parents help their children stay motivated and engaged? A critical approach is to support kids in setting their own educational goals, moving beyond the dictates of the school curriculum. Parents should have conversations with their children, emphasizing effort over end results. This will provide a sense of self-affirmation and success when goals are achieved. Another key element is to let students make choices about their own education, including selecting their courses. This ownership creates a sense of investment in the process, which is foundational to self-motivation. Deciding everything for children may lead to disengagement, as they feel that everything has been predetermined for them. In summary, while grades have some value, it's crucial to see them in perspective. Encouraging self-determined goals and choice are vital to supporting children's education.
To sum up, Lahey's The Gift of Failure encourages parents to recognize the importance of allowing their children to learn from their mistakes and experiences. By guiding them towards autonomous thinking and fostering enthusiasm rather than imposing control, parents can unlock their children's untapped potential. In addition, the book casts a critical eye on conventional practices, like praise and grades, and suggests focusing on effort and relying on self-determined goals. Moreover, the book highlights the value of household duties in promoting a sense of purpose, and the significance of fostering empathy and adaptability through exposure to diverse social interactions. Invariably, forging an environment that embraces failure empowers children to forge ahead with a resilient mindset.